Good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome to this time of remembrance. As we come to this time, there have been 656 mass shootings in the United States during 2023. Tonight we gather to remember and to pray for all those whose lives have been forever altered by this violence. To remember something or someone is literally to put the broken pieces back together, to create wholeness out of what has been broken. May our time together this evening change our hearts and help to restore us to a state of wholeness and grace. May we have the courage and the strength to work toward finding solutions to these problems, for all of us are wounded by this violence.
first station. Jesus is condemned to death. Monterey Park, California. As Jesus stands before Pilate and hears his sentence, we wonder if Pilate even remembered or knew his name. Too many people go to their deaths unnamed and unremembered. The event of their death was of no concern and was given just a few words, if that. In this country where shootings are no surprise and violence seems to be the easiest response to anger and conflict, we gather to remember those who died while celebrating the Chinese New Year. On January 21st, a 72-year-old man, armed with an AK-47 and an AR-15, enters a restaurant where a group of people have gathered to celebrate the Lunar New Year. He begins to fire his weapons. 11 are killed and 9 are wounded. The shooter is killed by police. Come here, Lord. Gently hold those who mourn. Come by here, God, and help us put an end to violence. The second station, Jesus takes up his cross, Allen, Texas. The shooter is an unhappy young man, a neo-Nazi sympathizer who has been removed from his service in the army. He blames Asians and other foreigners for all his problems. On May 6th, he enters the Allen Premium Outlets store with an AR-15 and shoots 15 people, 8 of them fatally. But it is the families, friends, neighbors, and co-workers of those who died who must now take up the fallen crosses of those they loved. And even while struggling to get from one day to the next, while feeling empty and sad, they carry the cross they inherited. These are the cross bearers of today. Come by here, Lord. Help us carry the burden.
The third station. Jesus falls the first time. Hartville, Ohio. Jesus stumbles from the crushing weight of his cross and suffering. We live in a broken world filled with broken people. Is nothing ever perfect? On August 24th, 2023, a husband and father shot and killed his wife and 3 children while they slept. No other people were involved. It was the annihilation of a family. No reason was given. Like Jesus, we also fall. All of us sin and fall short of the glory of God. Falling seems to be a chronic human condition that only God can restore to stability. O Lord, come by here and make us whole. The fourth station. Jesus meets his mother. Madison, Indiana. As Jesus carries his cross to Golgotha, he meets his mother, who has faithfully been present even as others fled. She stayed there with courage, goodness, and faith, which did not waver in the hour of darkness. Blessed is she who believed. On December 12th, the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, an unknown person with a gun entered the rural home of Naomi Susan Briner. She and her 3 children, ages 6, 8, and 12, were all murdered. A house fire was started to cover up the crime. The killer has never been found. Lord, come by here. Be with us in our pain and brokenness.
Station 5. Simon helps Jesus carry his cross. Cedar City, Utah. As Jesus was making his way to Golgotha, staggering under the weight of his cross, the Roman soldiers looked for someone to help. They pulled Simon out of the crowd and forced him to help Jesus carry the cross. The others watched. On January 4th, a father who was mentally abusive to his family was served with divorce papers and had recently been fired from his job, deciding that everyone he cared for would be better off dead. He shot and killed his wife, her mother, and their children, ages 4, 12, 17, and a set of 7-year-old twins before killing himself. There was no one to help. O Lord, come by here, turn our hearts to you, for only you can help. Station 6. Veronica wipes the face of Jesus. Romeoville, Illinois. According to tradition, Jesus was on his way to Calvary, hauling his cross, beaten, exhausted. Veronica came out of the crowd, daring to help a man she did not know, to try to give him some respite and comfort on this awful day. She did not save his life, but she was there. She tried, and she cared. On September 17th, a man whose romance had ended badly decided to take revenge by killing 3 adults and 2 children, ages 7 and 9. He even shot the 3 dogs. He was killed from injuries sustained in a car crash while he was fleeing from the police. There was no one left to care. O Lord, come by here, show us your care and love.
The 7th station. Jesus falls a 2nd time. Coldwater, Mississippi. How long, O God, must Jesus stumble under the weight of our violence? According to the stations, Jesus fell 3 times. So this particular stumbling was not the first time, nor would it be the last. On February 17th, a 52-year-old man with a history of mental illness uses 3 different guns in 3 different locations to kill 6 people, one being his former wife. In a place where it seems that gunshots are almost as common as handshakes, we weep for ourselves, O Lord. Come by here. The 8th station. The women of Jerusalem weep. Louisville, Kentucky. The women are mourning Jesus and weeping, and he tells them to weep instead for themselves and their children. Weep that they witness violence and injustice. Weep that they stand by helplessly when innocent lives are taken. On April 10th, a bank employee goes to work. He brings an AR-15 that he legally purchased just 6 days before. He shoots 13 of his co-workers, 5 of them fatally, during a board meeting. He is killed by the police, and the shooting is live streamed on Instagram. Oh Lord, come by here and give us your peace.
The 9th station. Jesus falls for the 3rd time. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Jesus stumbles yet again with every gunshot, every act of hatred, and every cry of grief. Jesus stumbles under the weight of our societal violence. On July 3rd, 2023, a young man with a previous gun conviction who is a biblical extremist and who believed in vigilante justice randomly killed 5 people ages 20, 29, 59, 15, and 31. He felt they deserved it. O Lord, come by here and preserve us from our judgments of others. The 10th station. The soldiers take the garments of Jesus. Nashville, Tennessee. The Roman soldiers take away the garments of Jesus, leaving him exposed, vulnerable, and alone. They remove what little he had in this world so he could be nailed more easily to the cross. On March 27th, a former student at the Covenant Presbyterian School in Nashville, Tennessee, returned carrying an AR-15. She killed 3 children and 3 adults. She left a series of journals and various writings expressing hatred and anger at everyone. Specific reasons for her hatred have not been released. O Lord, come by here and open our hearts and eyes to the needs of others.
Station 11, Jesus is nailed to the cross. Dadeville, Alabama. Jesus is crucified, murdered, dies. When hate overpowers love, when death overpowers life, Jesus is crucified again and again. When guns are seen as solutions, when violence is seen as the answer, we continue to crucify Jesus. On April 15th, 6 shooters with 7 handguns decided to shoot up a Sweet 16 party. They killed 4 and wounded 32 people. Having no reason for the violence, it appears to be totally random. Just the misfortune to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, exposed and vulnerable. O Lord of mercy, come by here. Station 12, Jesus dies on the cross. Mesa, Arizona. Jesus dies, and it was political. Jesus dies amid outcries of injustice. There are no easy answers, no clear analyses, no simple explanations. It is messy, it is not simple, just a lot of unanswered questions leading to agony and grief. In Mesa, there are answers: drugs, money, power. 5 people are dead, targeted because they were homeless and addicted, and received no medical attention because they did not deserve it. And night fell over all the earth, and in that gloom of grief and unknowing, we struggle to find meaning and hope. O Lord of truth, come by here.
The 13th station. Jesus is taken down from the cross. Lewiston, Maine. The crucifixion has ended. The resurrection has not yet begun. This is an in-between time. We sit with the pain and wonder what will come next. We are sitting with the dead, not standing in the light of the resurrection. We are living Good Friday. On October 25th, a shooter with an AR-15 entered 2 different locations, both places of recreation and entertainment. He killed 18 people and injured many more. 2 days later, the shooter was found dead by suicide in some nearby woods. When Jesus was brought down from the cross, it seemed as if all was over and done with. What appeared to be the end was only a pause before a new life would begin. O Lord, come by here and open our hearts to new life.
The 14th station. Jesus is placed in the tomb, Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. The suffering is over. The period of mourning begins. Do we seal the tomb and walk away? Or do we remember Jesus and live in the hope of Easter morning? We are asking you to sit quietly for a few minutes, to reflect on what you have heard. And if you wish to commit yourself to working toward the reduction of gun violence in our country, we ask you to come forward and light a candle from the Paschal candle and to place it in one of the containers on the altar steps. Then return to your seat, and when you are ready, take the program you have received, bring it home, and use the information available there to contact a group that is working to end gun violence. Share that information with others. Peace be with you.